I'm Juliana Farrow, and today I'm talking about college roommates.
College?
As if going to college isn't scary enough. You're leaving behind your friends, your family, your home, and then you have to share your space with a stranger.
Who are you? Who are you?
So, I go to Cornell University, and Cornell requires all freshmen to live on campus. And whether you're in a single, a double, a triple, or a quad, your college experience will be shaped by your living situation. And it's not even like you have a choice in the matter. So what Cornell does is the summer before your freshman year, they send you out a housing survey. And on this housing survey, you answer questions like, do you smoke? Yes or no. Do you listen to music when you study? Yes or no. And based off of your answers to these questions, they are able to pair you with a roommate and put you in a dorm that's right for you. So I was meant to talk with the housing director here at Cornell, but of course we had our two only snow days since 1993.
Last night's record snowfall grinding the Syracuse area to a halt. The National Weather Service.
So I was unable to make it to our office. So I'm just going to read you off a couple statistics from the Cornell Chronicle. So they did a survey that invited 3,900 undergrads and 2,100 graduate professional students to share their housing experiences. Most of the survey respondents said they were only moderately satisfied with their current living situation. The top 3 most important housing features for undergraduates in order of preference was the cost of the housing, the proximity to classes, and living with friends. But see, when you arrive your freshman year, you don't even have any friends yet. When you first pull up with your parents and your car is stacked with your luggage, you're so excited, so nervous, and you get out and you meet your roommates for the first time and you see your room, you have a choice. You can turn around right then and there and march to the housing office and demand to be switched into a single or demand for another dorm. But I was very curious as to why some people chose to stay in the living situations that they did, or why they chose to fill out the survey the way that they did. So I first talked to my friend Jillian, and Jillian ended up having a great experience, but right off the bat, it maybe didn't seem that way.
So what was your living situation last year? Tell me a little bit about your roommate.
Sure. So I was in a double in Donlin, which is one of the freshman dorms. She was from New Jersey. We both had a sister, so we bonded over that right away. She was an engineer, so she's very into academics. She went to like a prep school. I went to a public school, so that was slightly different. She was like a little bit more prepared than I was for the academics here, but overall she's very friendly. From the minute she walked in, she like introduced herself. She was very go with the flow, didn't care that I'd already chosen a side of the room. That was my first view of her.
Did you always want a roommate? Why didn't you try to switch into a single?
I personally chose that I wanted a double on the survey because I thought it was part of like the college experience. Every movie you see, they have a roommate. My sister was 4 years older and had a roommate, and she only had good things to say about it. I mean, they had their differences, but overall, she said it was like a really beneficial thing for her. And I kind of just wanted that college experience. I actually ranked a double first and a single the last thing because I knew if I was in a single, I would keep to myself, and I really didn't want that going into college. I wanted something different. I wanted to have this experience because I feel like it's the only time where you could actually share one room with someone. Like when you're older, you might just have a roommate, but like separate rooms, and this was like the one time that I felt like it was normal to be sharing a room with someone.
Why did you choose to stay with your roommate?
We had our differences, but it was more like common sense issues that were going on, and in the moment I was so fed up and I was like, I should have just went for a single. I could study in my room super late at night, but I realized it was more of just small annoyances that I was, like, letting get to me. Like, she didn't know how to use a stapler. And so she was just stealing mine without asking. But, like, there were other issues that could have easily fixed it. Like, I showed her how to use one, like, things like that. So it was just like me being annoyed by small things. And in addition, I felt like we were learning things from each other. Like I was teaching her like these slight small nuances you do every day, and she was like teaching me how to study and like set time frames, like when I should go to bed and like get up so that I'm not like sleep deprived. So I think after the first semester I realized how beneficial it was, but during the first semester I definitely did contemplate wanting a single, but I was just like, there's nothing bad enough to make me switch. It was just like me being annoying about what she was doing.
How did you fill out that housing survey? Why do you think you guys were paired together?
So I know I put a double first because I thought getting along with one person is easier than getting along with 2 or 3, and I just didn't want a single. I did that. I went to sleep at like midnight. I didn't like a lot of noise. I didn't go out that much. And I remember when I got my assignment, it was only her first name and what she answered to each of the questions. And we matched up for everything but noise. Like she was a little bit louder than me. So I definitely think we were paired on having the same answers. Even though we weren't like identical people, we had like those 5 things in common. And then I remember like emailing her through the housing portal being like, oh, hey, my name's Jillian Prinzing. And like 3 seconds later, she had friend requested me on Facebook and like sent me a message. And that just made me feel so good because like she was so excited to have me as a roommate, just like I was excited to have one as well.
How do you think this experience changed you?
Well, it definitely taught me how to live with someone else because, as I said, I had a single my entire life. I could put things where I wanted. I could do things at whatever time I wanted. So this definitely made me think of how my actions affected the other person living in my room. I also think she was someone I never would have met on campus or gone up to on campus. Like, we just don't have a lot of overlap in the academic area or clubs. So she just opened up this whole side of Cornell that I never would have seen, including like she was really artsy, so she was into the Johnson, and I'm like the opposite of creative, so that was really nice to get that view from her. I think it was just more learning to coexist with someone, learning that when something's bothering you to like address the issue, not let it boil. And then now, once we like fixed those issues, we became the best of friends. Like I brought her to sorority events with me. She was like my date to like our crush event. And then I see her on campus now and I get super excited. So I think it's like it taught me how to live with someone and it just gave me another friend.
Next, I talked to my friend Katie. Katie didn't have the best experience, yet she chose to stay there. So I was curious as to why she felt that it would be more beneficial in the end for her to stick it out and remain in her room.
I was in a triple in High Rise 5. It was me and 2 other girls. We went completely randomly picked roommates.
Why do you think you guys ended up getting paired together?
I think I definitely put double first, and then quad, and then triple. And we definitely had similar sleep schedules, so I think that was probably a big factor going into why we were paired together. But I think other than that, we probably didn't have a lot that worked together. I definitely think probably one of the most interesting things I picked up from just a very non-cohesive group of girls in a triple was watching different people adjust to college differently, and it was definitely all 3 of us coming from very different backgrounds, and 2 girls coming from very sheltered hometowns that were very different, and so just watching them interact and their different backgrounds and kind of their introduction into a different world was very interesting to see.
Was there ever a point where you tried to switch out of your room?
Definitely not. I really liked the people in my hall and on my floor, and so that made up for it. And I wasn't unhappy in my room, it just wasn't a cohesive group of girls.
So overall, what do you think you gained from that experience?
I think, again, just seeing different people, learning about different people and their lifestyles, and just watching them go about the world differently was interesting.
And lastly, I'll talk a little bit about my situation. So my freshman year, I was put in Low Rise 7 at Cornell University in a forced triple. And the New York Times actually published an article where they listed the worst dorms in America, and Low-Rise 7 at Cornell was in the top 10.
As if!
And so I was in a forced triple in Low-Rise 7, so basically I got the worst possible situation that one could get.
Is this some kind of sick joke?
You know, I would spend all day in the library because I couldn't go back to my room because there was really nowhere to sit in my room.
All right, it's getting crowded in here.
One of my family friends came to visit and he was like, this is what I would imagine prison to be like. But I was very close to my suite mates, and for me, that was more important than my comfort. I did have a couple opportunities where I could have moved into a double in a different dorm that was closer to Central Campus, and I realized that my living situation was only temporary and that these were friendships that would last forever. My older brother, he went to school on the East Coast too. We're both from California, so we were really into the idea of just being around as many people as possible so we wouldn't get homesick. I saw that he got randomly assigned his freshman year, and he got along so well with his roommates. He is actually getting married next March, and they're all going to be in his wedding. So, you know, at a certain point when I realized that I'm becoming good friends with these girls because I'm in the same living environment as them, I picked their friendship over comfort. So I have a younger brother who's a senior in high school, and right now he's trying to decide where he wants to go to college, and he's not even thinking about roommates. But it is something that once he gets there, it's going to affect his first year and beyond. So my advice to him would be definitely get a roommate, definitely be in a situation where you're surrounded by as many people as possible. So whether you get along with them or not, it's a learning experience, and you get to look at the world through different perspectives and hopefully make some lifelong friends along the way.